Hey everybody, welcome to episode 11 of Enjoying Orange Slices. I just got back from Vegas where I seen Jeff and we did some promos for the show. We talk about the best players in the league to watch out for. They might not be the best, but we talk about the players to watch out for in the league. We talk about whether the World Juniors is worth it after you've made the NHL. We talk about our new water of choice. Liquid Death. Killing your thirst, murdering your thirst. Let's get to the show, shall we? Well, hello, Jeff. It's been a long time since I've seen you. A couple of days. I was wearing this shirt at your house, and now I'm wearing it on the podcast. I took myself out before you could take me out.
I know. I saw that. I'm like, come on. I wore a shirt for 3 days last week. Doesn't mean you get to do the same. And then you rub it in my face with the hockey night in Canada.
Night in Canada. How about that? Sharples equipment on the picture.
I know. I like that. And you know what? And then we're representing right here too as well. Talking about.
That's Jeff's dad's business right there. And I think we were a B team. I think that's what we were there.
Not with the Sharples equipment crest. Not with the Sharples equipment crest.
Well, we were an A team. We were a B team that used to take out the team all the time. How did I just do that? Did I just make it huge? Something happened. Oh, there we go. Back to it. Well, let's get started. Kirby Dach's back in the league, and that's just exciting. Such an exciting player. And we talked about Chicago at the beginning of the season. We both thought they were just going to be a shit show, and they've actually been great. They've been great. But question for you. Mm-hmm. Guys get injured when they go to these junior tournaments all the time, and they've started their NHL careers already. Why do they go back and play in these junior tournaments? What's the benefit? I feel like the downside outweighs the upside.
Well, in this particular instance, Kirby Dach played for Team Canada. He's a young centerman for the Chicago Blackhawks. In the playoffs last year, was a dynamic player. He plays for Canada because he's still of age to play in the World Juniors over Christmas. And in an exhibition game, he breaks his wrist. His wrist, I guess, not wrist, sorry.
His wrist.
His wrist. So anyways.
And it was ugly too, right? It was hanging.
Yeah, it was bad. He was out for 4 months. So now the Hawks, who have kind of been reeling a little bit lately, get him back. And I think he can provide some push for them. But yeah, it's a real good question. You want to have, every team wants their best players. They want to, Canada obviously wanted them bad, and the Blackhawks went along with it, and they lost one of their young superstars for 4 or 5 months. So I myself I think there's lots of kids, at least in North America and probably in Sweden and Russia, probably lots of kids, maybe Finland too, that could come in and take over. They're not going to be as dynamic as Kirby Dach, a player like him, but these countries have players they could definitely plug into their system and get them that experience.
It's interesting. You say that it's not going to be as exciting, but I think Chicago had to give them they had to ask permission to take him, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
And then I think Chicago held back on giving him permission, and then he ends up getting hurt. It's not a good thing at all. I don't understand why once you're in the NHL, why you'd go back and play in that tournament at all, because it does happen. I see usually, and that's not just me that sees, but other people see, it's guys that aren't really getting the ice time in the NHL that go back and play in it, right? But Kirby Dach, he was a big part of their run in the playoffs last year, so it wasn't like he wasn't getting the ice time.
No, you're right. He was getting the ice time, and just looking back, because earlier when you and I talked about this, we thought maybe the NHL season started a little bit later. The NHL season started the week of January 11th. The World Juniors, those kids were all in a bubble up in Edmonton, probably for the better part. They were probably in Edmonton for the better part of a month, my guess is. But Kirby Dach had just played in the playoffs in the fall. So it wasn't like he was missing out on anything, or that there was a big gap, where some of these teams have shut down and they had some kids that hadn't played for a long time. So I think we both agree on this one, especially a player of Kirby Dach's magnitude. You'd like to see him just stick with the big club. And you know what? He'll have his opportunities if he keeps progressing to go play for Team Canada, either at the World Championships or in the Olympics. That's the kind of trajectory this guy has.
Did you play in the World Juniors, or was there a World Junior? Well, back when you played, was there a World Juniors? I don't remember it being that big of a deal when we were that age. Whereas now it seems like Canada just goes insane for that over the winter break. Was it a thing, or was it as big?
Yeah, it was a big thing, but I believe back when I was eligible to play in the World Juniors, I was up in Detroit to start the season. I got sent down during the season, but I believe that at that point, and I don't know if this is still the case or not, but every junior team only had to give up a maximum, I think it was, of 3 players, because the junior teams are still playing. They might have a little Christmas break, but while this is on, while the World Juniors are on, the junior teams, the WHL, OHL, Quebec Major Junior, these guys are still playing, so they don't want to decimate the roster. Mm-hmm. So I happened to be playing for the Portland Winterhawks at that time, and when I got sent down, and we had 3 players that they sent. And if I remember correctly, one was Glenn Wesley, great guy, great player. Dan Woodley, good guy from, and he was a Vancouver draft, and Dave Archibald, another one of my teammates I played with in pro, and he was another one. So they sent those 3, and there was a lot of deserving players, but they can't take everybody. So
Canada could probably put in 2 teams into that tournament. It's one of those.
Oh yeah, they could absolutely. They could go on in forever with players. There's no question.
I like it. I just don't understand sending, as we talked about, the older. I'm just repeating myself. I'm upset that Kirby got hurt. He shouldn't have been at that tournament. And it's got to be for a general manager to have that happen. It's going to affect him saying yes to somebody else in the future, right?
I believe so. I doubt Chicago's going to be lending any players anytime soon. But if you have a guy that's down on your 4th line, maybe in and out of the lineup and up or down in the minors, I guess you can't really have a junior kid in the minors, but let's just say you're holding him with your NHL team, mm-hmm. and he's in and out and you're not sure what's going on there. He gets to a position where he's not even playing for you. So are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, I lost you because my computer did a funky Cole Matina on me here.
You keep on talking. Don't even worry about it.
I won't even. Sorry.
We can see you. That's what counts.
Good enough.
I think that's enough of that. But I don't like the way it can affect a kid's financial status for later on in life by going to a tournament that's not going to help you out because you're already in the NHL.
Well, just remember, though, this is an opportunity to play for your country. And
I know.
We're trying to move on. I think my computer's trying to shut down. This is like the weekend of us on the couch together. That's how that conversation went.
It just sounds weird. Me and you sitting on, hanging out. There was other people there. It wasn't just me and you.
Okay, the dogs were there too.
The dogs were there. It was a good. We watched before because to let people know I was in Vegas. I performed at the Desert Pines Golf Club, and we'll be doing there once a week. The next show is on April 30th. If you want to get your tickets, they go on sale April 1st. You can get them at ianbagg.com. Oh, that was a nice shout out right there. That one.
Well, it was great, but get your facts straight. It's once a month.
It's once a month. I said monthly. Then I would have
did I say once a week? Up talking about you're all upset about what's going on with the kids in the World Junior. I'm very upset about that. I'm with you on that.
I'm very upset about that one. But we were watching the Winnipeg game, Winnipeg-Calgary, mm-hmm. and it wasn't too exciting, but I left after the first period, and I got to tell you, I was so disappointed in the radio call. The radio call that came out of Winnipeg there was nothing going on excitement-wise, and we have a couple friends in radio, and I think they do great jobs, and I was very disappointed with the Winnipeg call, just to let you know. I know we weren't going to go along that, and we weren't going to talk anything bad about anybody. But I tell you what, if I lived in the middle of nowhere and I got no TV and I had to listen to the radio call, I would be very upset about it. And so many advertisements. It was insane how much advertising they were doing on that. So who should you be watching out for? Who are the players that we should be watching out for right now?
Okay, so we kind of skipped over this last couple of weeks, so I'm going to go and I'm going to hit you with my big four this week. Ooh. Because and if you want to weigh in on them, I'll give you like half a second to say something, and then I'll go on to the next. But
okay.
The number one player I'm going to talk about is a player that I've watched over the last few years, and he's made a quantum leap this year. Number one player is a defenseman in Edmonton called Darnell Nurse. He's got 11 goals right now, and he has risen to the level of a number one defenseman. He's big and physical. He can skate like the wind. He's providing offense, and he's getting on board with the Connor McDavid, Leon Draisaitl train. That's very exciting for people in Edmonton to see him play as much as he's playing and develop like he has. Been fantastic. On my next player, did you want to say anything about him, Ian, or just?
No, I'm a big fan. I'm just, I know we have some Edmonton fans, and I know we have some people that say we talk about the North too much, but it gets me upset how long it takes for these guys to get on board the Draisaitl and McDavid train, because it's, you got the best player in the world and you're not going to just put everything into it. But he is playing great, and he does have one of the best names in the game, Darnell Nurse.
Yes, fantastic. So whether you're an Edmonton fan or not, this guy has, like I said, leaps and bounds, really impressed me. And I got to see him play in person because they're in the Pacific, get to see him come through Vegas. And he has improved every time I've seen him come through. Big, physical, throws the offense out there too, plays every situation.
What's the strongest thing that really points out to you that you notice that you go, wow, that guy's great?
Well, I think the biggest thing I noticed about him is his skating ability. So he's not afraid to jump into the play, and he's not afraid to take the puck with him or try and create something. And of course, he can get there to lay a lick on somebody as well. So, his skating is kind of at an upper level as well. So,
who would you compare it to skating wise?
That's a good question. Thanks for doing that to me, Ian. You know what? A skater, another guy that's a really good skater, but not as big. He's still 6'2". I think Darnell's 6'4". Is Shea Theodore is a terrific skater in Vegas. Mm-hmm. A little different game. Shea's not as heavy on people as Nurse is, but he's still. Those two guys are great skaters, and they can drive the play with their ability to skate. So, but I'm going to jump. We're going to get out of the North, Ian. We got to run. So we're going to go all the way, as far away from Edmonton as we can. We're going to go down to Florida and talk about another young player who signed as a free agent. My second guy to look out for is Carter Verhaeghe, signed as a free agent from Tampa in the summer. And I believe he's got 15 goals right now, lighting it up for the Panthers, who are on fire. And although they did take a big injury the other night to one of their top defensemen, Aaron Ekblad, but Verhaeghe has been a difference maker in Florida. So we don't talk about them a bunch, but he's fantastic. So keep an eye open for him. The next kid I want to talk
about. Before you take off from him, do you know what his nickname is? Because there'll be so many great nicknames you could have for that guy. The Hague. Here comes the Hague.
Let's see. Carts.
Carts. Yeah. That's probably what it is. It's Carts. I bet you.
Yeah, I mean, that's one thing about NHL nicknames. They don't, guys, it's not too often they go off, up on two wheels trying to come up with a nickname. It's usually a shortening of the last name.
That's right. They go Australian wise on it. They go same way Australians give nicknames. Put an S on the end of his names. Carts. Who's number three? Number three.
Okay, we're coming back out west again. We're going to stay in the States. We're going to talk about a young man named Zach Whitecloud that plays for the Golden Knights.
Oh, interesting.
What?
Interesting. I watched him the other night, and I'm interrupting you. And I was actually going to ask you what you thought of him, and I didn't get a chance to. So I'm very interested in what you see in him.
Well, what I see is another young player that can skate really well, but what he's done is he's gotten a lot more, he's a really smart player, but when you see him take players out now, he's very good on angles. He's really a cagey player. He moves the puck really well. His skating's terrific. And the other night, what really caught my eye with him is they played that 2-game set with Colorado. and Colorado can embarrass you pretty quickly because they have so much pace. McKinnon came down on him a couple times. Nathan McKinnon, who we all know is a superstar and can absolutely fly.
He's okay.
And he was able to just kind of stick with him. So that caught my eyes. Like, man, this is a young player that really can compete with these high-end guys, and he'll just get better.
And his offensive prowess is pretty good too, right? He jumps up into the play quite a bit and doesn't seem to catch himself out of position.
Yeah, he's playing. He is. He's growing into his game. I think he's kind of watched Theodore a little bit here in Vegas and gone, I can add a little bit to my game. And he plays a lot of nights with Nick Hague, who's another young Vegas defenseman. So you got two really young guys playing together. I know they played a little bit together in the American League, but that's how much faith they have in these two guys in Vegas. And White Cloud was phenomenal in the playoffs last year, and he's picked it right up where he left off. His not big offensive numbers, but he's a plus 12, plus 13 player. And we talk about plus minus on this show a little bit. And when you're playing against the big boys on the other team, that's a pretty impressive number.
That's very good. Do you know how old he is?
I think he's 22 or 23.
22.
So
do you know how long his contract is?
They just re-signed him. So he's on for what he's giving them right now and the money he's making, he's a deal, like super deal. It's another 2 or 3 year, like he signed a 2 or 3 year extension. So he's here for, and then I'm assuming he'll be a restricted free agent. So he'll be here.
Out of him. He'll grow for them. And, that's probably, that's pretty impressive. That kid, they're 22 years old, 3 or 4 more years. So you're really getting him at his prime, right?
Well, exactly. And of course, I got to look down to see I know the last guy. I went back to Florida. Sorry, fifth in the league. We're just going to give them some love today because
Florida.
But Jonathan Huberdeau, I just looked 45th in the league in scoring. Are you kidding me? So everything is going very well down there, and I just thought that's another guy to have a look out for and having a breakout.
Where was he before Florida? Where was he before Florida?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure he wasn't an original draft in Florida, to be quite honest with you. But thanks for putting me on the spot on that.
I just thought I thought I'd ask because he's one of those. He's also one of those guys, kind of like a White Cloud, that you're like, oh. He seems to be coming into his own, and did somebody give up on him, or did he come in from the team? So that's because it's amazing how quick teams give up on players now, like the age of 22, 21 years old instead of where it used to be 24, 25. Like they just, I guess now he can mature. He can mature someplace else. We don't need him.
Yeah, I mean, these guys. I don't know. We try and reach out there a little ways and. I mean, grab some players that maybe people might or might not know of and just kind of, talk about them a little bit. It's easy. We could easily talk about Mark Stone or McDavid or Matt.
Well, the guys that get all the airtime, they're easy to find. But the guys, so that's Zach Whitecloud from the Las Vegas. We got Hubby from Florida. We got Karts from Florida, and we got Darnell Nurse from the Edmonton Oilers. Hey, I'll put out this question. Tell us who on your team, because we get mail every so often. We'll go to it in a little bit. Tell us who on your team, who your undercover player. What do they call them? I guess underappreciated player. Who you think we should be taking a look at. Let us know. Let us know who you think should be. Hey, the other day when Montreal and Vancouver went into the overtime, it was slow and methodical, whereas overtime used to be kind of just a track meet of everybody's hair is on fire. Is it because everybody needs the point and doesn't want the other person to get the extra point, or what's going on? Why have they changed this style of overtime that a lot of these teams are playing?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's like it's a chess match now. I mean, everything's all about who wins the first draw, and then they do circles most of the time for, a minute or two and try and burn the other guys out and then try and make a tactical move to go to the net. Whereas overtime, it was so exciting. I think we've talked about this before, but overtime is so exciting when they go back and forth. And I guess it's just because these teams are like, okay, we got our point. Now we're going to try and, outsmart you or outpossess you with the puck until we wear you down, try and break you down and get our chance. But it's crazy because you and I were talking earlier about some of these teams and where they'd be if they had a few more points from overtime. So I think some teams, it might really benefit, like you look at a team like Edmonton or Colorado, they love the wide open, maybe even a Toronto. I don't know, maybe Washington might fit into that too, because they got some high powered guys. And then you got these other teams that maybe don't want to get out and kind of spread their wings a little bit more and a little bit more defensive. And I think that ends up hurting some teams. So somewhere in between where it used to be run and gun and where it is now is I'd like to see it kind of get back to where they're trading chances a bit more and actually, just trying some creative plays and some innovation.
Yeah, I wish it was a little bit more freewheeling, because that's what was exciting about the overtime was it was just like, oh well,
we talked about this before, and if you look at teams that are scuffling or on the bubble, you've got we've talked about Montreal a lot this year, but Montreal leads the league with 9 overtime losses, followed and they're hanging on to 4th. I think the way the teams are going behind them, they might be okay because they got a bunch of games in hand. Even if they don't win those games, it still puts them in front of the teams behind them at this point. But the other 2 teams are Columbus and Dallas. And, those 2 teams need those extra 2 points all the time. And, of course, Montreal would be much further up if they could get a few extra points.
Well, let's look at as you say, the bubble of people trying to get into the playoffs. Like Nashville, we counted out a couple weeks ago. They're now in the 4th spot. They've got 36 games played, and they're like tied up with Chicago and Columbus. And Dallas seems to be the one that's really, really struggling there. But it seems if you look at this, there's the top 2 or 3 that are in. And then the bottom 2 or 3, it just changes every night. And you go down to the Mutual East, and then Boston's in 4th place. And you're like, what? I thought they were going to be in 1st place, and it's Washington's in 1st place, and then Pittsburgh's in, and Philadelphia is struggling, and New York's still coming, and it's just, and then you go to the Honda West. And there's still that chance that St. Louis is going to fall out, and Arizona or Los Angeles could be in there, and San Jose is not far behind either. And then, and then you go to Canada and everything's just different because they haven't gotten their shots yet.
But I agree with you. I think most people would look at the Honda West and say Vegas, Colorado, St. Louis, and many. We've talked about that before. All of a sudden, St. Louis has hit the skids, and their next game is in Colorado, hasn't lost. I think Colorado's like 3-0-2 in their last 5. I believe what St. Louis 1-3-1. So now, and Arizona's starting to surge. Los Angeles is hanging around. San Jose's not too far out. And so
I think it's great. I think it's really great that nobody, we're not. Everybody's still got a chance, and everybody's still fighting and grinding it out. It's way more. I kind of like. I'm sure they'd never go to this where they could push the schedule together more, and when we go back to normal times, instead of so spread out, like maybe make it a quicker season, because the fight is more, and the urgency and the fight is better. I love it because you'll flip out because I said urgency because you hate the word urgency. So, but I don't know. I don't. We
could have a whole nother 25-minute conversation on the word urgency. The over/under on the amount of urgency that gets thrown out during a game I'd have to say about 12.5. I mean, that the word comes out all the time. But you're right. We were all over Nashville. Well, you specifically were. Yeah. Wasn't.
I don't think I was wrong I don't think I was wrong for being all over Nashville. They were horrible.
No, we don't want to talk about the teams that we thought might get in last week either, because they're not in this week, but they might make it in next week. Other than Nashville, the only team I'm trying to think of the only team that we kind of thought I don't know if there is one. I think we might have swung and missed on all of them last week, but
it looked like a couple baseball guys coming in and talking about hockey. It was bizarre. It was just as soon as it was 7 minutes after we aired too. It just everything fell apart that we talked about. It was just like couple of dopes. We're gonna do some shout outs in a second. We got some mail. Thank you guys. We're not gonna read any. You know what I'm gonna read? I'm gonna read one or two of them. Let's go to the old slices there. The slices made me laugh. We got some emails. Robert, he was all fired up. You guys should stop talking about the North and talk about Tommy Solo's dog. I don't know what that means at all. But it came at night.
But Tommy Solo, I played with him. So great guy, great competitor. And if Tommy has a dog, or if Tommy ever catches this, what's up, Tommy? And great friend, great teammate, and hopefully his dogs are doing well.
Hopefully his dogs are doing well. But I was just weird. Robert sent that at 9:30 a.m. So I don't know if it was supposed to be funny or he's fired up about us or Tommy Solo's dog or he lives next to Tommy or he's mad about the North. But good for you, Robert. Good for you being all fired up. Maddie said she loves the podcast. She has listened to all 10 episodes. She suggests that we take a speech class. She suggests that the swearing should be not bleeped out because it's a little distracting. It throws her off when the horns bleep and it happens and she thinks the show is ending because it's the same bleep as the end of the show. Well, Maddie, how about this, you little fucker? There we go. Keep that in. You don't say anything, Jeff. Paulina Busquets, she also says the past episodes have been fantastic. I like them unbleeped, though. I like it unbleeped, Paulina Busquets. Well, we'll try to bleep some and we'll try to not bleep anything. We're a PG-16. That's what we are. We say some words that get bleeped, like this one's. And then we say some other words that don't get bleeped, like this one. So thanks for sending that mail in. Good luck to Tommy and his dog. What else? So we got any? You want to do some shout outs? Let's do some shout outs and take off. Let's do that.
Okay, we got to be like Bob and Doug and take off, eh? So here's where we're going to start. What?
To the Great White North, take off.
Oh, that's right, Geddy Lee. So yeah. April, what was he? April Wine?
No, he's Rush. Geddy Lee.
Sorry. I know we're going to get some hate mail over that one.
God.
He's awesome.
Your brother just sat up in his bed.
He's going to hit me with his bass guitar next time I get up there. I'll be out. Okay, start with the Isabel Cup. Boston Pride over the Minnesota Whitecaps. And I know everyone up in Canada is thinking Vancouver Whitecaps, but this is a professional team in Minnesota. Congratulations to Boston Pride for winning the Isabel Cup. That's my first shout out. And the ladies are the women's hockey. So congrats to them. And I'm glad, again, that they were able to get their season. And one last little thing that I will throw in on that, Ian, is sure would like to see some heavy hitters, NHL, maybe get behind the women's game. And let's get this thing going. And let's help.
You know what? We should buy some. We should go on some of these websites and buy some of their merch and start wearing it on these shows.
Absolutely. Yep.
Yeah, we should.
Absolutely, we will. And but good for them. Way to go, Boston Pride. And on to you, Mr. Bagg.
We got a sponsor. We want to mention Liquid Death. I'm drinking the sparkling water, and Jeff is drinking the normal water. It is from where's it from? Austria. It is from Austria, and it murders your thirst. So Liquid Death. It looks like it's meant for rock stars, but hockey players can enjoy it too. Liquid Death,
and it's good for podcasts.
It's great for podcasts. Makes you thirsty. Also, I want to give a shout out to Desert Pines Golf Course for having me, as we mentioned before, monthly, not weekly. Next show, April 30th. Also, Lee Lana's Bananas. She's going to be Lee Lana's Bananas. She's going to be out at the next golf course, and she's got a great business. If you like bananas in all different ways, Lee Lana's Bananas. So how about you? How about you, Jeff?
Okay, well, I don't know if you want this one or not. Bobby D, do you want me to do that one?
Oh, you do Bobby D. You do Bobby D.
Okay. So Ian and I had some fun, and we always do, right?
Never.
We always have fun. But we were out doing some stuff for the slices, for the orange slices last week at a local rink, and our good friend Bobby D, or better known as Bobby Three Beers, because he doesn't
Bobby Three Beers.
or more, helped us out. So a big shout out to Bobby D, and I will also throw a shout out to Lauren Bauer, and who is not getting any residual money from the Bauer Skate Company. So she's got her own business. She's got to start. So we're going to have a little bit more on Lauren Bauer to help support her, because her family, the Bauer family's not.
The Bauer families, not like the CCMs. They don't help their people out. But Lauren Bauer, make sure we'll get her business information up there. Also, what rink was Bobby D at? What rink is it?
It's at Flamingo and 215, the Ice Palace in Vegas.
Great ice, just to let you know.
Ice Palace, but it's 215 and Flamingo, and of course,
when we skated out the other day, you got to admit that was some great ice for in the middle of the desert. In the middle, it was some good ice.
It's crazy good. Yeah, they did a great job. So thanks.
And they're able to get some kids tournaments going there. They're starting to do some things there. So hopefully the world gets back together. We'll all see out there for some ice, and watch. We got a couple clips coming out for the hockey fan in you. So make sure you share them. Share the clips. Share this podcast. Listen to it. We enjoy it. We enjoy you looking at us, but listen to it. Listen to this podcast on iTunes or not on iTunes, Apple Podcasts or Spotify. You can find us there, or you can just share this on YouTube or whatever you want. But Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg and fuck off. That was for Paulina. That was for Paulina right there. That Paulina Buskus. Maybe we'll beep that. Who knows? Hey guys. Well, Jeff. I'll see you next week.
Love to all, Ian.
Love to all. Bye-bye. Hey, everybody. Thanks for listening to Everybody Enjoys Orange Slices. Make sure you subscribe, rate, review, and share. That's what's going to help us out. If we make new fans, then we get more stuff, and then we become a crazy popular show. And everybody listens to the guys that know everything about hockey. One was in the NHL. One was in a hockey movie with a chimpanzee. It's Enjoying Orange Slices.